by our, who she is and her times this
probably
season.
some familiar names for you for indoor, I'm guessing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, the open race for the guys is
Okay.
And so I did every town in alphabetical order, and I like started like a
Oh,
dog
really?
blog. Like I usually take them like on a walk or a hike, or depends on what the town is,
Yeah.
right? Then I moved to Leominster, so I was in Worcester County, and after doing 85 things in Middlesex County, I did all 60 towns in Worcester County in
Nice.
alphabetical order. And the minimum is 5.5 miles for each one, but usually I'll do like 8, 9, 10 miles. Sometimes like 11 or 12 miles. But then when I ran out of Worcester County, it was like it really kind of evolved into like this whole thing that like became my entire personality. So then I was like, all right, let's do the rest of the state. So I started with Abington, and we've been going ever since. So now I'm at the letter E. We've been doing it for like 3 years now. It's going to take us like another 3 years to finish because it's like whenever we have a day off.
Just because you're going in alphabetical order doesn't mean that towns are close by.
Yeah,
so.
no, we've done 205 trips now.
Yeah.
And so there's, like I said, there's been a blog keeping track where we go, and I take a bunch of pictures. But yeah, we've done Martha's Vineyard 3 times.
Jamie, so you guys are going on in 3 minutes.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Audio is going to flow hot right now, though. So just you can keep your conversation going. If they want to hear your audio, just don't swear.
I will not swear.
Dang it.
They are hearing your audio. The world's not.
Just that's all right. Yeah, whatever. Hi, everybody who's hearing me right now. Talking about my dog, which I'm trying to get to my Instagram here. Can't seem to do it.
You got me over there, one? You hear me?
Oh, there it is. Yeah, so it's basically
Can you still hear me?
So I'll do like a post wherever I go, take a bunch of pictures, say where I go.
Nice.
And it's like, a little photography. Can't really get. There you go. There's the doggy. That's the boy.
He's probably not mad about that at all.
No. This was a couple weeks ago. We'd get up at 2:45 in the morning, drive 2 hours to Falmouth, get on the 5 o'clock shuttle from the parking lot that takes you to the ferry, hit the 5:30 ferry, and you get off right before sunrise in Vineyard Haven, and then get on a bus, take the bus to Edgartown, and then we started walking from there. We did 9 miles. It's our weird little thing, but it makes him happy, and I like being outside.
Yeah.
Anytime I'm outside, I'm a happy person. Usually we run during the week, and then on the weekends we walk.
Nice.
He's the reason why I run, because if I don't, he goes crazy because he's super high energy.
Yeah.
So I have to make him – my goal
Tire him
every
out.
day is to make his ass tired. Otherwise, I'm going to have problems.
Oh, yeah.
I've got bib numbers here, too.
Okay.
I did not get multiple copies.
Yeah. Do you know if there's live splits or anything? Do we have that? Or?
There are. I'm glad
Okay.
you mentioned that.
Yeah. Just in case we miss, like, people running by or anything like that.
Yeah, that's
and
going
they
to
will give us, like, the team score updates.
Being a Northeast 10 student athlete is about a lot of things. It's about having an impact on the field, in the classroom, and in our communities. It's about leading the way and setting the standard across Division II. Being an NE10 student athlete is about embracing the work, finding our balance, enjoying our journey, and embracing the victory.
Amazing! Come on!
It's about embracing self-discovery, growing as an athlete, a student, a person, and a leader. Being a Northeast 10 student athlete is about embracing you.
Good morning and welcome to the Hopkinton State Fairgrounds in Hopkinton, New Hampshire, where Franklin Pierce is your host for the 2024 Northeast 10 Cross Country Championship. I'm Jamie Scavato alongside former Franklin Pierce Raven, Ryan Walker. And Ryan, a little bit chilly this morning, but we've got two great races on tap. And you know a lot of these runners really well. You know this course really well. If you can give us your thoughts here as we're getting into this event.
Oh, it's a great course out here today, A little chilly, but after the first 2K loop, they should warm up, and it's expect to be a really good race today. They're battling a big hill at the start, and they'll have to go up that 4 times, but you still see some fast races out of this course, so should be a good one.
And the men's race will be going first, of course, 8K, 4 loops around the tight little 2K track that we've got, or 2K course that we've got here. And a couple of different things going on. In the men's race, Southern Connecticut's a heavy favorite to three-peat as champion, but there are a number of individuals who have a really good shot at taking home first place here and taking home conference gold. And again, you ran in this race last year, so you know a lot. All the guys that are coming back, you know them all really well. If there are a couple names that kind of jump out to you that you can think of just right off the bat here, I mean, I've got them as well, but what are you thinking?
From Bentley, Sam Capobianco. He's put together some really fast races on this course. At New England's a couple weekends ago, he ran pretty low 25s. Mohammed Abunar out of New Haven, he's gotten a lot better since last year and is looking really strong. My former roommate, Ryan Outerbridge from Franklin Pierce, got to throw his name in the mix. His home course, he's expected to put down a good time, a good race.
Yeah, there's probably, I would say, maybe 7 or 8 guys who have a chance at winning this thing. You mentioned Sam Capobianco out of Bentley, the senior out of North Reading, Massachusetts, finished 6th in this event last year. I mean, you don't really have, it's not like track and field where you've got, a seed list that you can just look at and go, boom. But you can look at sort of the handful of events, right? And you can look at personal bests and things like that. And you mentioned that low 25s, 25:12.2, the fast time in the year for Sam Capobianco. So that would be your fastest time that anyone's run in a 5K has run this year leading into this. And then you've got Brian Ryder out of Southern Connecticut, Dylan Labonte out of Southern New Hampshire. Another guy's got a chance. You mentioned Mohammed Abunar, who was 10th last year in this event out of New Haven with a great shot. William Lamburn of Southern Connecticut, Joe Carroll of Assumption, your old roommate Ryan Outerbridge in there, and he's got a pretty good time this season, 25:31. Or 25:25 is his personal best, but 25:31 he's run already this year. And, of course, Ryan was 7th last year, 5th a couple of years ago. Can't forget about John Glidden out of Southern Connecticut, Owen Gagney of Southern Connecticut, and Jake Orfano of Adelphi, another name that you can throw out there as all names that could possibly be in the mix. Yeah. Now we get everyone, just sort of gaggle of runners getting set here at the starting line, starting very, very shortly here. What is the start of a championship race like?
Oh, it's insane. It's a team race, so you're trying to set your team up in the best position. With Southern having so many good runners in that top mix, they may try to control the race, get everybody out front, and slow it down, try to win as easy as possible, leave it to a kick. But, it's kind of chaos getting out on that start line, especially if you're one of those top names. You need to be out front. You want to get to the front. And, that could mean you sprinting a 60-second 400 and when you still got 7K to go. So,
yeah, how hard is that? I mean, if you depending on where you start, it's a stampede right out of the gate, right? Yeah. How much can a race be won or lost on this start right here?
You could trip, you could, run into somebody. There's a lot that can go wrong in the first 30 seconds of a race. But, these guys are experienced. They know where they need to be. They're smart. You just kind of got to play it safe and check your surroundings before making your moves.
Now, of course, it's like 45 degrees out, and you can't tell because everyone's running shorts and tank tops right now. But, as a runner for yourself, when it gets a little bit chilly like this, late October, how does that affect you out there?
Being from New Hampshire, you kind of get used to it. Some of these guys are international, so the cold weather is kind of new to them. So you'll see some gloves. You'll see, some people wearing undershirts and stuff like that. But once you start running, you really start to warm up, and it doesn't really be that big of an issue.
You mentioned the big hill that you talked about earlier. Now they're coming down the big hill and making that turn here on the front side of this course. And obviously the field is going to start shuffling out a little bit here. We do have live timing that is available at lancertiming.com. They always do a fantastic job. We'll be getting some splits at the 2K marks here. So every time around, when they do the full time around the course, we're going to see kind of where everyone is shaking out. But again, it does look like Southern Connecticut, heavy favorite. Lots of runners figure to be up around the front. And the Owls probably looking like they're going to be able to take the team championship. But again, it's the individual that is really wide open here. And you can see behind, where I'm looking outside of our truck here, is the crowd kind of going to catch everyone as they come back around here. A little bit of a blur on the monitor, so a little tough to make out who's out in front. But definitely can see some Owls getting out to a good start here.
Yeah, I'm really curious about who's taking that runner-up position. There's a couple good teams that could, shake up and put a good chance in for that. So be excited to see the results of this race.
It's a really good point. As when you do get outside of your sort of main standing there, it does get a little bit more wild as you get a little bit further down after that sort of first place spot. Yeah, it could be anyone's sort of race here.
It's looking like we got about 7 Southern Connecticut runners in that front pack. They're making an early move, but there's some other names in the mix up there too.
Yeah, and you mentioned the other teams that have a chance at sort of getting that runner-up spot. Adelphi, Bentley, Assumption, Franklin Pierce, all in the mix there to get that second spot. That, again, it's Southern Connecticut with the heavy favorite, and you don't want to anoint anyone before the race is done, but you look at times and you see where things are going, and again, it's a wide-open individual race as well, so a lot of intrigue here. As, again, we sort of check out the map as to where people are going to be going here, and it's kind of a wacky. It almost looks like a figure eight, but not really. It's like 2 loops basically. You get your big loop up top, your little loop down below, and again, we'll be getting those splits as we see them here. As you can see, the runners now coming back around that loop, and that is again hard to make out who's in front.
I think that's Luca Casaniga.
Yeah,
pretty sure. But, yeah, just a whole bunch of Southern Connecticut Owls up front there.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're packing up, and they're making their move early.
So you've got the Owls. Now, from a team perspective, what kind of goes into the first few kilometers of a race like this?
You can make or break your race in the first few kilometers. You'll have your hard hitters up front, that'll be able to hang on to that pace. But you'll have some guys that want to make a move early, get their name in the mix. And, it might just become too much, and they'll die the second half of the race. So, in these team races, you kind of got to be, you could be in 25th, but move up 10 spots in the last, 2 kilometers, just from people dying, stuff like that. So you kind of just got to, be patient.
Yeah, absolutely. The deck definitely, looks like it'll shuffle a few different spots over the course of this race. And again, be cool to see once we get those first set of splits to see where guys are at and to see where the team stuff is at and really to see who is in charge. And right now, that is Owen Gagne and Luca Casaniga.
Yep, it was Joseph Carroll that was the first non-Southern runner up in that pack with Ryan Outerbridge right next to him from Franklin Pierce.
Yeah, Joe Carroll from Assumption. He was finished 14th last year. Out of Cohasset.
Oh, yeah.
And now we get him along that back straightaway as well.
Yep,
and they're really coming up close to that first 2K. I'd imagine here. That's that second turn, and then they're going to kind of loop back around.
It's right as they turn to go up the hill again. That's where the 2K marker will be. So we'll be able to check in there. Probably in about 30 seconds, 45 seconds.
Yeah, we can see him going behind us. We're sort of in a trailer right now. For those of you who don't know, we're not on the course. We're near the finish line, but you can see, and it looks like, is that Casaniga still out in front?
I believe so, yeah. It's hard to tell with the buses right there.
As they go behind the buses. And they make the turn towards the start. And you'll know they get there because you can see, the tent and the timing and all that stuff is going to be there.
Oh, it looks like Labonte from SNU making the move. He must have moved up on that back stretch a little bit, yeah. It's pretty close. It's going to be about 3 to 4 names all coming in at the same time right there.
Yeah, Dylan Labonte is going to have a very good chance in this race as well.
The SNU guys have a good chance to claim that runner-up spot too, if everybody has a good race.
Also, Joe Carroll, you mentioned, he's up near the front too out of Assumption.
Yep, it's Joe Carroll taking that first spot at the 2K marker, but still a lot of race to run. So
Absolutely. Ryan Outerbridge, your buddy
yeah.
up there up near the front as well.
Oh yeah.
So right now, Joseph Carroll at the 2K point of Assumption out in front. Dylan Labonte of Southern New Hampshire in second place. Luca Casaniga of Southern Connecticut third. Brian Ryder of Southern Connecticut in fourth. And Ryan Outerbridge of Franklin Pierce is in fifth, but it's a whole lot of Southern Connecticut
Yep, 29,
at that 2K point.
29 points at the 2K mark, and then the next best is Bentley with 101. But, we'll see that shaking up. Hopefully they'll try to close the gap, but I really do think it's a race for second place in this one.
But I think the race is also kind of playing out as you'd expect. A lot of the names that you expect to be up near the top are up near the top. So they obviously got out of the starting gate, got up to the front right away, and now they can compete as they will here. And they come back down that hill.
Oh, yeah. You can make some good moves on this hill, It's tough getting up it, but
looks like Labonte's out in front here.
This kind of fuels you for that second half of this loop, Yeah, just looks like more than 7 owls there.
That's usually owls, they don't travel in packs like that. But
they are
apparently
today.
In cross country they do, right? As they head down towards the back, and I guess if you're Dylan Labonte,
it's got to be intimidating having all those guys around you,
What is that like? If you're kind of running by yourself, and next thing you know it, you're surrounded by a bunch of guys that are all from the same team, kind of ganging up on you. I mean, you're running your own race, but at the same time, there is that sort of team aspect to it. And it is still Labonte out in front, and I believe that's Joe Carroll still in second place as well. And we can see the rest of the field kind of cycling through here on that back stretch. And now they are coming around. They're going to take a right. I know when they get to the end of this spot here, and that's when they kind of go into that smaller southern loop before they come back around. And you can, again, judge where everyone is by the sound of the crowd.
Yep, they're heading towards that 3K marker.
And that is still Dylan Labonte out in front. And it looks like Carroll in second. And I can't tell which of the two.
I think that's Brian Ryder.
Is that Brian Ryder?
Brian Ryder.
And Casaniga is right there with the headband, right?
And Ryan Outerbridge.
He's pulling into third place. So you've got 1, 2, 3 non-Southern Connecticut, and then the rest of it's the Owls sort of dominating from a team perspective.
But, that's what they need to do this race, to score as few points as possible, Of
course, for Southern Connecticut, it would be a third straight Northeast 10 championship. As we get a look at the hill here, sort of the back of the field a little bit.
Yep.
But again, we've got competitors heading back around that turn. That means they're going to start making that next turn to get you towards the end, and we'll get those 4K times coming up here. But it doesn't look like the field has shifted all that much, and it looks just as close as we thought it could be.
It's really only going to shape up a couple points from those top guys from like their individual teams just because Southern is so deep up front.
As you can see, Labonte still leading the way. Carroll in second. Also, right up there, however, from Southern Connecticut, I think that is Ryder. Is it?
Yeah, I believe so.
Or actually, no, I think that's Owen Gagney. Yeah, that's Gagney right there with the
they all look kind of
the shades and the gloves. I know, it's tough. It's tough. When you don't see him every day, you're like, it's tough. Just to, full disclosure, we're trying to read the bib numbers in the truck here. It's tough to see him. There's the sun is bright, so it's hitting those white bibs just directly, and you're kind of like, I can't see it.
They're all around the same height, same,
and they're all wearing the same thing. So it's
and all fast too.
It's one of those owls. But either way, you definitely know that's Dylan Labonte coming around that turn here. But it is super competitive here in this race as we're coming up on the halfway point, and it is still anyone's competition.
Yeah, and these top runners have really separated from the rest of the pack,
Yeah, you've got your bunch that's up front, and then you've got the rest of the field here. And it is Labonte 1, Joe Carroll 2.
Capobianco.
And that is Sam Capobianco who's in there. And Capobianco, we mentioned, he finished sixth last year And also at the outdoor last year for the NE10, he was third in the 1500.
He's got some good range on him. Just being able to jump from the 15, compete competitively there, and all the way up to 10K. Because he stole one of those individual qualifying spots for nationals last year in
Yep.
cross. So, you know.
Should be coming up to you soon. 2 and 3, just the signal just crossed.
Little bit of a rough signal, just by the way. It is not an easy spot to stream from out here. As now we'll get down to the front stretch, and again they are coming around, and we're going to get those 4K times pretty soon here as they start coming across. So we'll be able to let you know exactly where things are at, but you can tell it is Dylan Labonte 1, and it is still Joseph Carroll 2, and here comes Ryan Outerbridge, who's sitting in there in 3rd place.
He knows this course well. Excited to see the second half of the race for him, but
Looks like Capobianco's fallen off a little bit.
he's in 3rd. Yeah, he's in 3rd. It's the first 4 runners
he
are
is
all
in 3rd. Never
non-Southern
mind. Yeah,
Connecticut
yeah.
runners, and then just a pack of them right behind, you know,
Absolutely,
doing
yep.
what they need to do. So
And again, we're starting to get those 4K times coming across here. So Dylan Labonte is in 1st, Joseph Carroll in 2nd, Sam Capobianco of Bentley is in 3rd, Ryan Outerbridge of Franklin Pierce at the 4K mark in 4th place, and then you get your first Southern Connecticut Owl. That's Brian Ryder in 5th place. So basically, a lot of your favorites are up near the front, and they're kind of filing in where you'd think they would. And for Sam Capobianco, he was not really in that top mix, so he really made a big leap in that 2K. That could bode well for him as it gets towards the end of the race. He could be getting faster, or maybe you could assume that. And again, experienced some technical difficulties here. That's why we've got the map up right now. And again, just to let you know, it's tough to get a signal out here, so we are broadcasting from a hot spot and doing the best we can with it. So we'll hopefully get all the cameras back up and running shortly here. But again, LancerTiming.com is where you can go to get the live results as we go. We're getting the splits every 2K. And now we can bring that back down as they got runners going back up the hill here. Not too far from our broadcast position. Again, we'll have the women's race coming up a little bit after this one. I think 12:30 is when that one is scheduled. So, again, if you want to take a look at the sort of the team score at the 4K mark, it's Bentley who's got that second-place spot. Kind of, they were kind of in the mix for that.
yeah, they separated themselves from Franklin Pierce in 3rd.
Yep.
During that second 2K loop. So
And you got Assumption in 4th, and the team aspect there in Southern New Hampshire taking up the 5th spot. But either way, Southern Connecticut way out in front, 35 points, which is actually exactly where I calculated them, which is surprising. And Bentley, if the race ended now, it would be Bentley with 93, then Franklin Pierce 104, Assumption 124, and then Southern New Hampshire with 137. As you've still got Dylan Labonte out in front.
Joseph Carroll falling back a little bit, but, you know, still about 3K left to run, so we'll see how that shapes up. But
I believe that was Capobianco in 2nd place as they were coming around as well. So, again, we can hear the crowd here, so that's how we know where everyone is. So we're going to be like 3/4 of the way through when they finally do get around to that spot here. Is this where you start kicking, or do you wait till the last 1K, 2K? Where do you really try to throw it into gear?
for me, I was never in that lead chase pack for cross country, so I was just trying to score as little points as possible in my position. But, you know, you still got to remember you got one more time to go up that big hill. So once you get to the top of that, there's a nice downhill. You can really start moving the legs. But once you hit about that 7K mark, there's a couple smaller downhills, and then the finish is kind of on a slight incline, so it's tough to kick, but it's a straightaway for about 200 meters. So we'll see some good kicks coming down that stretch.
And you get a look at the finish line now. That is where the competitors will be crossing once we get here. It's just a matter of time and a few more Ks to go as we're a little past the 16-minute mark. So within the next 10 minutes, we're going to get, or in the next 9 minutes perhaps, we're going to get our first finishers here. And we'll see how low into the 25s we can get. Obviously, 25-12, your fast mark on the season. You imagine that guys get faster as you get to the championship, though.
Yeah, sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. It really depends on the race. Cross country is just who has the best day. It's not about who's faster. It's just, somebody could get up front and slow it down, and then it could turn into a kick. If they are confident with their kick, they could slow down the race and then, wait till the last 400 meters to win it.
We got a pass up front, too. That's Capobianco, isn't it?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, he just pulled into first place. Again, fastest time on the season, and it looks like he has pulled ahead.
Yep, it's Ryder, Gagne, Outerbridge, Labonte.
Or actually, correction, up front. That is
That's
Owen Gagne up front. So you've got the Owls 2 and 3 right now as Owen Gagne takes the lead from Dylan Labonte. And again, Owen Gagne, one of those guys, first teamer from a year ago, finished 5th last season, 19th the year before that. Senior out of Weathersfield, Connecticut. Let's see if he can hang on. Labonte might be going for the pass to regain the lead here.
Yeah, it'll be an exciting last lap, but still got to remember that big hill, you go too fast too soon, might be biting you in the butt when you come around to that finish. So.
How about coming down the hill, too? Is that a bit of a challenge, especially if you're in traffic?
There's a couple rocks on that hill. You kind of – by their fourth time going down it, you'll know, like, the tangents to run on it. But if you're coming into this race blind, you might – it's kind of unexpected, kind of scary, but you can really start to move on that hill.
Well, we'll be looking at that 4K split here coming up very, very soon. It'll be interesting to see where everyone is at. I mean, you can see the front pack right here. You've got 1, 2, 3, looks like 4 Owls in the top 6.
They're starting to lap some of the back-end runners too. So
that actually probably could factor into what we're seeing here. But now they're coming across, and we're going to start getting these 6K splits here as they come across the line. And they're coming in real time. Owen Gagne of Southern Connecticut is out in front. And then you've got Dylan Labonte of Southern New Hampshire, Brian Ryder of Southern Connecticut. Actually, I think he is now taking the lead.
Gagne, Labonte, Ryder closing in on Labonte, and then it was Ryan Outerbridge. But he's not in view of the screen right now, so can't tell if he's falling back or making a move to the front. So
yeah, it's Brian Ryder wearing number 96, and it's Owen Gagne wearing 86 on the bib number. And, of course, right in the middle, Dylan Labonte. But looks like Gagne running away with this thing now.
He's making his move.
So 2K to go, one more time around. And again, Brian Ryder in third at that 6K mark. Ryan Outerbridge in fourth. Sam Capobianco in fifth. William Lamburn of Southern Connecticut sixth. Joseph Carroll of Assumption down to seventh. John Glidden of Southern Connecticut eighth. Nathan Hubner of Southern Connecticut ninth. And Mohamed Abenar of New Haven in 10th place. And so far, it is Southern Connecticut way up in the teams, like 15 points. Yeah. No one else has even come across to get a score in yet. That's wild.
Should
That's
shift once the other team scores come in, but they already got their 5 in before. Most of these teams have got their 2 in. So
yeah, that's wild. That is a wildly dominant performance, kind of what you expected from a team's perspective.
Yeah.
But again, it's all about will they sweep the individual and the team portion here.
Yeah.
It's in the cards. Franklin Pierce now in second place, however, as we start getting some other guys coming in. And the points will start shifting about here. Actually, now you got Bentley in second place as they get it around. But Southern Connecticut at 23 points. Up back to 20. It's going back and forth here. We'll wait.
Once everybody else's 5 guys comes in.
Everybody's 5, then we'll figure it out, yeah. Either way, it is the story that we've kind of knew would unfold in terms of that. But a couple more minutes to go here, as they're going to be coming around.
About 1.5 K to go. So
We're winding down to the finale of this championship race, and it is tight up front. I believe Brian Ryder is taking the lead now. And where?
I think it's Gagne. I think Ryder's wearing the
way
sunglasses.
out front. Oh, no, it is Gagne up front.
Yeah. Labonte
Ryder's
closed the gap a little
Sorry
bit.
about that.
Yeah, no.
Again, trying to pick one owl out from another one here because there's so many of them up front. William Labonte, though, close in second place.
Joseph Carroll moving up to fourth.
Carroll in fourth. You got Outerbridge back there in sixth place. As, again, we kind of look towards the close here.
A big gap between those runners, though, up front to the rest of the field. So
yeah, it's kind of turned into a two-man race individually. We'll see if that closes here over these last, this last kilometer or so.
But more owls keep making their way around that back half of this back-end loop. So
Yep. Got a few more minutes to go. Probably about 3 more minutes so we start seeing some finishes here.
Yep. We'll be able to see the front pack coming around this loop just a couple seconds. So.
And you can hear the front pack is kind of circling around behind us here.
And it's looking like Gagne and Labonte.
Gagne, Labonte, 1 and 2.
Looks like Lamburn moving up to third from Southern Connecticut. Trying to close the gap on Labonte to maybe have a 1-2 sweep from Southern.
And Gagne is pulling ahead. Labonte falling back a little bit. He's run a great race, but when you're on your own, it's tough to be in front, especially when you are outnumbered with, Southern Connecticut Owls all around you.
He put himself in the mix, Got to respect it. And he still has a chance to win this. If he can close that gap, maybe save a good kick for the last 800 meters. But Gagne up front is looking pretty strong.
And they are coming around towards the finish line here. They'll be coming out from behind us here. As we'll try and get a good look at where things are headed. But they'll definitely be on their way, and it is Gagne who is still out in front of Labonte. Gagne down that front stretch. You can see the 86 on the front.
He's looking good. He's moving. He's making his kick.
And here's Labonte behind in second place.
Yep, he's got a good 400 to 300 meters left, but,
Does he have a last push here? Or will Gagne run away with this thing quite literally? Meanwhile, closing in on second place.
I think it's Lamburn and then Ryder and then Carroll.
Yeah, Lamburn, Ryder, and Joe Carroll for Assumption in fifth place. And that is your top 5. Ryan Outerbridge looks like still hanging on to sixth. As, again, they have separated quite a bit.
Carroll making a big move on that back side, but they're going to come up to the finish line. Going to see this.
You're going to start hearing it, too, probably over our headsets here, as you've got, obviously, spectators lining up here for this Northeast 10 Men's Cross Country Championship. And it is Owen Gagne all the way down here.
Yep.
Meanwhile, right behind him in second place as Gagne heads towards the finish line, it is Will Lamburn.
Then Labonte from SNU. So 1-2 from Southern Connecticut.
So Southern Connecticut will win the team's portion. No surprise there. And the Owls also go 1 and 2 individually. Your men's 8K cross-country champion for 2024, Owen Gagne of Southern Connecticut, the senior out of Wethersfield, Connecticut. 5th place a season ago, and he comes in first here in 2024. Comes in with a time of 25 minutes even. That is a PR for Owen Gagne. Those are some fast times out there. You got 3 guys coming under 25:10. Fastest time this season was 25:12.2. So Owen Gagne, first place for Southern Connecticut at 25 even, .47. Will Lamburn of Southern Connecticut, 25:02.04. For Lamburn, that is also a PR. Dylan Labonte of Southern New Hampshire, a PR of 25:03.55. Brian Ryder of Southern Connecticut was 4th at 25:12.19. Stop me if you heard this before, but that's also a PR.
Looks like Southern's got all their scoring 5 in already, so.
Yeah, Joseph Carroll, 25:12.19. Ryan Outerbridge, 25:12.64. Ryan Outerbridge at 25:20.39, finishing in 6th. Sixth, Sam Capabianco of Bentley at 25:29.96. And Nate Hubner of Southern Connecticut was 8th, 25:36.31. Muhammad Abinar of New Haven, 25:41.58. And in 10th place, Mason Beal of Bentley at 25:42.65. Now it's a matter of figuring out where the team portion is going to finish here.
Yeah.
I mean, you got a lot of Southern Connecticut Owls up front. You know that they're going to win their third straight team championship here.
A couple Bentley in, a couple of Delphi.
Looking like Bentley, maybe a Delphi can get that second place spot.
Looks like all 5 of Franklin Pierce's just came through, so we'll see where that gets them in the team scores.
Looks like Franklin Pierce might snag that second spot.
Yeah, it'll be close.
Well, you mentioned it when we started this. It was going to be sort of anyone's race after Southern Connecticut in terms of picking up that second spot.
Yeah.
Looks like Franklin Pierce might have done it, but again, we got to wait for everything to sort of be calculated here as everyone comes across the line. Either way, great race for Owen Gagne.
Yeah.
He came in, I would say he was one of the favorites coming in, but he was more of, I don't know about a fringe, but if they were like the sort of like a big 3 or 4 that I had picked, I would have had Gagne in like maybe that next category down.
You know,
as he was he was a first teamer last year, finishing 5th.
They show up come championship season. So
absolutely,
congratulations! You can never count out a Southern Connecticut individual for that team title, that individual title.
Of course, Owen Gagne coming in with a PR too, at 25 minutes, almost breaking the 24 threshold. Really, only a few guys have done that in this field. There were only 2. Joe Carroll's gotten under 25. And, that's it. He's the only runner in the field who's ever run under 25 because Jonathan Volpe not in the race.
It's looking like a tie for second right now in
How do you like
between
that?
Assumption and Bentley, so it'll come down to the 6th runner, I believe.
Yeah, so there you go. Your team standings at the moment. Southern Connecticut, 27 points, a dominant victory. In the team portion here. And, of course, Owen Gagne with a fantastic run at 25 even, .47 to come away with the individual title. And it's Assumption and Bentley tied for second place at 115.
Yeah, but second through 5th was separated by 5 points. So that's how you know this was a really close race for second.
Yeah.
Everybody put in a good effort for that, but looks like it's Assumption getting the tiebreaker from Bentley.
Franklin Pierce, 117 points in fourth place.
That
Delphi at 120, just barely sneaking in there. Or getting down.
Yeah, a lot of new guys in the top 7 mix for Franklin Pierce. So, good showing from them. A lot of young guys, so.
Yeah, really good showing all around, but again, by a lot of competitors. So, again, your top 10, Owen Gagne of Southern Connecticut. William Lamburn of Southern Connecticut was second. Then Dylan Labonte of Southern New Hampshire led most of the race, ended up finishing third, so he gets himself on the podium. Then Brian Ryder of Southern Connecticut, Joe Carroll of Assumption, Ryan Outerbridge of Franklin Pierce, Sam Capabianco of Bentley, Nathan Hubner of Southern Connecticut, and then Muhammad Abinar of New Haven and Mason Beal of Bentley. That rounds out your top 10. And you had a number of guys in the low 25s. You had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 guys getting under 25:30. That's pretty darn good. That's some pretty good times for a championship race. So a championship quality race for the men's Northeast 10 cross country championship. And as we got more competitors crossing the finish line here to round things out, we will take a break here on the course. We do have the women's race. Will be coming up a little bit later on. It'll be coming up in the afternoon, actually. I believe it is a 12:15 start time. So in about 45 minutes, the women's 6K will get underway, where we will crown a Northeast 10 Women's Championship. Catherine Marsh is going to be your favorite in that one. But the team aspect, that one is really going to be up in the air. And so it'll be interesting to see how that one plays out. I'm Jamie Scavato alongside Ryan Walker, and we will come back when it's time for the women's race here from the Northeast 10 Cross Country Championships on Flow Sports.